Welcome back. Well, as we continue with our coverage of Africa Day, which was celebrated on Thursday, and Africa Month for the remainder of the month, we shine the spotlight on the Newzroom Afrika, which on Friday launched a 4D virtual exhibition, which will be centered around the genesis of African leaderships, migration and interconnectedness, and Totemism, which will be part of the display, and will also be represented through animation and videography, with a focus on highlighting the most enlightening tales about African culture and heritage. Well, during the launch, a discussion on a Pan-African thought on geo-scientific advancements and their political impact was also the focal point. For more on this, we speak to one of the panelists, author, academic, and storyteller, Dr Nomusa Mdlalose. Dr Mdlalose, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us on the Weekend Report this morning. I want to start by saying, do you finally get the sense that Africa, through her storytelling, is telling her stories her own way?
We're getting there. At least it seems like we are on the right direction. It's just the beginning. We still have a lot to do, but at least I'm getting the sense that, we're getting the point. We're starting to tell our own stories the way we know them and the way they actually happen to us.
Yeah. In your work, Dr. Mdlalose, you've really at length have detailed, the power of storytelling, what we lost in a way as well, have been able to highlight what we lost in the art of storytelling over the years. Perhaps take us through some of the finer points of your research and the work that you've done around storytelling in this continent.
All right. First of all, I would like to look at storytelling from 2 points of view. So from storytelling as an art form. If storytelling is an art form, which means it comes with entertainment, it comes with the element of knowledge sharing, it comes with culture, education, trade, business trade. So and then the second part of it, the second aspect of storytelling is that of it as a tool, as a method of sharing the information that needs to be shared, or sharing the knowledge that we have. So we have these two things. So we have used storytelling mostly as an entertainment tool. But partly for children, yes, there is education part of it, but then storytelling is broad. We have storytelling in education, storytelling in healing, storytelling in other art forms, in other settings. For example, if I want to say that storytelling is actually a life tool. It's a life skill, meaning that when you learn storytelling, you don't only learn about how to tell a story and how to be a good storyteller or how to perform a storytelling in a perfect way, but you also learn how to use a storytelling skill as a good lawyer, to make yourself a good lawyer, or a storytelling in healing therapeutic situations. So in other countries also, before, long time ago, stories were told in courtyards and in royal courtyards. So which means a lot of storytelling also had to do with history.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to your first question, I think now when I say I think we are getting there, because I now see storytellers, modern new storytellers coming in with that element of history, telling history stories instead of only animal stories, which are also very important, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you formed part of this panel discussion yesterday, Dr. Mdlalose, at the launch of the 4D virtual exhibition. So what we're seeing is the talents of storytelling that you have, for many years looked into research. We're seeing it come together and work together with technology. What kind of hope does that create for you as we proceed as a society? I mean, we are such a technologically imbued society. A lot of what we do is, propelled by technology. So to have the art of storytelling not get left behind, I think, is a beautiful thing that needs to be celebrated.
Yes. What I said yesterday, it's actually that storytelling itself won't allow itself to be left behind. What I was saying that storytelling has been traveling with change all the time. From way long time ago, it has been adapting to any change that has been taking place. I made an example of a storytelling that was told around the fire. But when radio came into being, those traditional stories were transmitted into radio stations. In my research, I got a lot of stories in adverts. I can name one advert that I can remember, the advert of Jerusalem, the power of Jerusalem.
Right.
That's a story. The story of the tortoise and the hare cheating in terms of strength and who's going to get there first. So storytelling has been adapting. There was also an advert on where the king in the story, I can't remember what advert, but now, even in technology, last night I said that digital platforms are new platforms, or is the new platforms that a platform that storytellers can exhibit their skill, and then that where they can contribute content. Because a technology on its own, really, it's less useful. It needs content. And storytelling can provide content for any technology, including TV.
Right. Very quickly.
Including YouTube.
Including YouTube, indeed. Very quickly, Dr. Mdlalose, we have unfortunately run out of time. You mentioned at the start of this conversation that Africa is not quite there yet in terms of owning her stories and telling her stories her own way. What else do we still need to do to get to that point? So much was lost in terms of indigenous knowledge systems. So much was lost during the colonial years, the apartheid years of this country specifically. What else can we still do, especially for the youth, for the young ones in this country, to ensure that storytelling is not an art form that is lost?
There's still a lot to be done. First of all, awareness. Each and every time phase, it is determined by what you know, what you see. If the youth and the children don't see storytelling that much, instead they see YouTube, they see media, that's what they're going to get into. So we still need to do a lot of awareness. Unfortunately, it comes with finance, it comes with money. So in order to see a lot of storytellers doing their job, financial muscles should be there as well. But also, I'm saying, if you look at in America and in other countries overseas, there's many universities that have storytelling as an academic study.
Right.
But none in South Africa.
Right.
There's nothing. There's no school for storytelling in South Africa. If you have to learn about storytelling, you will have to do with those NGOs that run workshops and short trainings, and the training is very superficial.
Right. Well, Dr. Mdlalose, Thank you so much. We're going to have to leave it on that poignant point, but thank you so much for your time and for coming on to our show today. That was Dr. Mdlalose talking to us about the Newzroom Afrika's 4D virtual exhibition detailing the many methods of storytelling.